Welcome to Mobile Agent TV. I am Michael Thorne of Remax Little Oak Realty in Langley, BC. And my co-host, as always, is Dave Falkware from Bridgewater, New Jersey, and the Remax Preferred Professionals in the Enviro Realty team. Dave, excited about today's show?
Very much excited about today's show. We're going to condense all of this great stuff into one spot, and it's the end of the year, and look where we're at today, Michael, compared to 38 episodes, 39 episodes ago. We started stumbling over each other. We're still doing that little once, but
we're still doing that.
This is fun. This is fun. This has been fun, and it's been a great year, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, perfect. We're going to obviously have a lot of new viewers watching today that haven't seen the show prior. So for everyone that's new, you can interact with the show live on our Facebook page at facebook.com/mobileagenttv, as well as you can interact on Twitter and interact with other people watching the show using the hashtag MATVLive. And if you are a new viewer and you're watching on mobileagenttv.com, just on the right-hand side of the page right now, there's a little sign up. You can sign up for our newsletter. We'll send you out a little video prior to every episode, just letting you know who we're going to have on the show and what topic we're going to be covering. So you can go ahead and sign up for that right there on the right-hand side of the page if you're watching this live at mobileagenttv.com. And this is our last show of 2013, Dave. And like you say, looking back on it, we got started on this just, I think, maybe in February, and we've had a lot of great guests on the show, and we reached out to a bunch of guests that we wanted to have come back on the show and all share one nugget, or maybe five in a certain person's case that's going to come on, and an ingredient that will help us in 2014. So it's kind of be nice to see the different people that we've had throughout the last 9 months, 10 months.
Yeah, well, it has. It's been a kind of a pretty diverse group from a lot of different aspects of the business, and I've learned a tremendous amount. It's kind of, like you said, one of the reasons we did is to keep on the front lines, and we're sitting in the front row of what's going on, and it's helped my career tremendously. And I know that the way we're doing this, we've helped a lot of other people too, and that's what it's about. It kind of warms my heart about some of especially Melanie. I mean, so grateful, and she's, the show has been the reason for that.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So if you are one of our guests that will be coming on the show here throughout the show, and you're watching right now, before you click on the invite to accept to come on the show, make sure you close down the viewer that you're watching this on, because we are in about a 30-second delay, because we're never really too sure what Dave's going to say, so we've been asked for a 30-second delay, and and so just shut it down so that there's no feedback. We're going to send out our first invite right now. And we're going to see if we can get Debra Trappen on the show, and she's going to get us started off. So now this is our last show of 2013. We will return on the air January 10th, where we're going to have Social Me on the show, which is the very first social media approved supplier by Remax LLC. So it's going to be very interesting to have them come on the show. On January 17th, we're going to have a very special show right after Kickstart in Toronto. We're going to have Dave come on. Melanie will be there in Toronto with us. We're going to be doing a presentation on video, and we'll be talking about what we learned there at Kickstart. And then on January the 24th, we're going to have Chris Smith on the show, and we're going to be talking about his newly released book. I think it comes out, on the 15th, right around there. People work that he wrote with his co-author, which is Austin Ellison, and we're going to be talking about people work. So that's what we've got coming up in the new year. And so we're just going to run down the list of people that we have coming on the show today. We have Debra Trappen, Laura Monroe, Raj Qsar, Teri Conrad, Cory Vasquez, Jonathan Christian, Valerie Garcia, Kelly Mitchell, Chris Spiecher, Virginia Munden, and Melanie Galea. And what we're going to do is everyone's going to come on for 5 minutes, share a nugget. Halfway through the interview, we'll invite on the next guest, and then we'll talk through that. So hopefully we'll have Debra on the show here in a couple seconds. If not, we can go down the list, and we're just going to sort of play this by ear and see how it goes. Now, Dave, you said have you got a copy of Jab, 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 Right Hook yet? Have you read it? There you go. All right.
Reading it last night.
Yeah, and initial thoughts?
Put down book. It's good. It's got some good stuff in it.
Okay.
Great content.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those ones that is sort of a really functional read. So I'm going to send this out again to Debra, and hope she'll get on the show. And we'll fire off an invite actually out to Laura Monroe too at the same time here. And if we overlap a little bit, we overlap a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. Once again, this is live or live whatever this is, and we're hoping that this goes really well, and it's going to be really, really exciting. And so Debra Trappen, if she comes on right now, she is one of the co-hosts along with Katie Lance and Kelly Mitchell of Breve TV. Here she is right here. There we go. Debra Trappen.
She is.
Hi there.
Thank
Hello.
you, Debra. So this is Debra Trappen. I was just introducing you. She is one of the co-hosts of Breve TV. You can get her on Twitter at Debra11, and she is the owner of D11 Consulting, which you can find at d11consulting.com. And we asked our guest to come on and share a nugget that'll help you in 2014. And Debra sent me, I think on Facebook, she goes, I got 5 nuggets in 5 minutes. So we wanted to yeah, exactly. We want to get things fired up right at the beginning of the show. So Debra's going to come on and get us all fired up. So we'll hand the show over to you, Debra, and you can get us started.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys, for having me. This is so much fun. I love kicking off the day with this kind of fun activity. So thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks everyone for watching. So one of the things that I'm really known for is talking about personal brand. So I thought that I would dig into ways to fire up your personal brand in 2014, because we all know that people choose to do business with people, not a logo, not a color. They choose people. And memorable brands are built on the truth of who you are, what you stand for, what your strengths are, and your passion, that thing inside you that comes out that makes people feel a certain way when they're around you. So some tips and tricks to really get to the core of your personal brand starts with your personal core values. So everyone out there, when was the last time you did a core values exercise is the first question. Normally what I get back is, never done a core values exercise. Never fear. You can actually jump over to my website after the show and download a free core values exercise, because it's something that I'm so passionate about getting out into the planet, getting people focused on knowing what drives them and what they're building their lives around, and it is those values. So get to the core of your values and write them down. The beauty of that is it makes all the decisions that you make so much easier, which knocks a lot of those cobwebs out of your brain when you're trying to make decisions for your business in 2014. So guys, have you ever gone through a values exercise?
Yes, I have gone through a value exercise. We've done it with our team before, and we actually just revisited it. And it's very, very interesting, because what you perceive you want to be your values may not be what's actually in your core, right? You can't make up your core values, right?
Correct. I think that's probably one of the biggest aha moments when people go through the exercise, is that they think their values are certain words, and then they start trying to live those words out loud, and it doesn't quite work. So good for you. Yeah, it's for me, it really changed the way that I lived, because I was actually aware of what my values were. And so even the things that I do for fun, I didn't realize were really around my core values. And that's really the second thing, is figure out what fires you up. Figure out what really, really lights that flame inside you, and get it infused in every single day in some way, shape, or form, because that is what fuels that personal passion inside you. And so if you haven't defined it, so in other words, if somebody were to ask you, what do you do for fun, and you stumble, there's a problem. So that's one of those favorite questions that I love to ask, especially at cocktail parties this time of year. Instead of asking people what they do for a living, ask them what they do for fun, and get ready for some great conversations, because people love to talk about the things they love to do for fun. So that's a great place to start, as well as developing your voice. And it's kind of a big topic, but in personal brand it's really important because you want to be known for something. And if you haven't really honed your voice or developed your voice, now's the time to start. And a little trick is just look at the last 11 posts you've done on Facebook. Just what you've posted, not what others have posted. Look at what you've posted and ask yourself, are these the topics? Are these the words? Are these the emotions and the conversations that I want to be known for? Because that is what social media is doing, right? Social media is painting the picture of your personal brand, whether you know it or not. So go back, review the last 11 posts, and ask yourself that. Is this what I want people to associate with me? If it's not, don't worry, just start shifting it, right?
How true are, wait, sorry, Deborah, just how true are you to your personal brand that you want people to go back and review their last 11 posts? I love it. Your personal brand is so about everything you say. It's fantastic. So I just had to.
Well, that's so true, though. You know, I love that. Thank you. And, you know, the number 11 has become my social object. So it's embedded in my personal brand, it's embedded in my personal and my professional life, and so it's very natural. And here's the beauty of it, guys. People send me their pictures of their iPhones at 11:11. I get pictures every single day on Twitter, on my phone, on Facebook. So it reminds people of me. And remember, we want to be memorable so that when people need the services we provide, they think of us. And so that's all part of the personal brand. And then once you've kind of got your message, you've developed your voice, you're moving towards that, it's about building those experiences around those key words, those key values, and those topics that you want to be known for.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Your why, your big why, right?
Your big why. Yes.
Why is important.
Indeed.
Deborah, do you have anything else for us? Is that did we cover your points?
We did. Go out there
fantastic.
And delight people. Yes. Woo!
Thank you so much, Deborah. Everyone, if you're not watching Brevi TV at 4 o'clock on Mondays Pacific Standard Time, I believe that's the time. It's great conversation with Deborah, with Katie Lance, and with Kelly Mitchell, who'll be on the show later on here in the hour. Fabulous conversation. Thank you so much, Deborah, for coming on. Have a wonderful holidays, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you later, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have, I'm going to unmute her. We have Laura Monroe on the show. You can get her at Laura Monroe, and she is the Director of Industry Engagement and Social Media for Inman News, and actually just recently had Deborah on a webinar, I think a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
So, there you go.
I completely identify with everything that she said. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Fantastic. So, Laura, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for taking 5 minutes to share something with our audience that's going to help them in 2014. So, once again, Dave and I don't know what's coming, so we'll hand the show over to you. I'm going to send an invite out to our next guest, Raj Qsar, and it's all yours.
Absolutely. First of all, I wanted to thank you again for inviting me to be on your show. It's been absolutely awesome. I think, I've gone across the country. We just got back from Boston Agent Reboot, and I think that one of the big things that people can really add to their businesses is to start focusing back on themselves. I think one of the things that, like Deborah was mentioning about, your core values and your personal brand, we're really seeing a trend for people to really start to get back to really what's important to them. There's a lot of noise out there in the technology world and the social media world, and I think that really just getting back to being true to yourself and being true to the things that you are the expert in, and getting those out into your business plan, being really specific about the things that you are strong with, your work style, your personal work style, and the things that you can pick 3 to 4 things that you're going to work on in 2014 and stick with those. Put the blinders on. You don't necessarily have to be watching your competition all the time because it's incredibly distracting to do that. So take the time, plot it in your calendar to say, what strategies am I working on for the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. Work on those and get really good at focusing that time in your calendar on you and your business.
Dave and I, scary. See, these sort of the things that happen on the show all the time. Dave and I were just talking about the distraction of agents and looking over the shoulder all the time. And I just don't. Dave, we just spoke about that for 5 minutes before we started the show.
Right, the same thing. It's like, especially today. 5 years ago, it was different. Today, every minute there's noise all around the real estate agent. Go this direction, do this, this is new, this is happening, man, things are happening so quick, and what do? You don't have your head down, you're not doing your work, and 90 days later, you don't have any income, and it's so spot on. It's great.
Well, and it's absolutely the biggest challenge that agents are facing today is, we're seeing a trend of the lack of focus, but also, this feeds into a lot of other things in your business. It feeds into lack of good communication skills, not being focused when those in real life moments happen with clients or happen with people that you work with. And what agents find themselves is at the end of a quarter, they're dissatisfied with their own performance in their business because they haven't accomplished their goals. So it just becomes really just a factor of listen to yourself, trust your gut, put your goals down, spend the time to actually focus every single day. Put aside 2 to 3 hours that you need to. And yes, as we sit here and preach to agents, they need to answer all those phone calls. They need to be given, call people back within 5 minutes. I think we're getting to the point where we need to understand that we're all overwhelmed with noise. Take the time to give back to yourself. That will improve your business much more so than feeling completely scattered, feeling at the whim and will of everybody that needs to, get your feedback right now. And give yourself that time to your business.
And on that note, hey Raj, we'll be with you in just a second. Great shirt. Laura, one of the questions you said was name 3 or 4 things that you're going to work on. Now, are you talking about working on things that you should improve on, or are you talking about, you kind of hinted to it, playing to those strengths? Or should we be focusing on what we're already good at and going all in on those things, or should we be trying to get better at stuff that we're not really in our DNA to do?
Well, I think it's both. I think number one, the first thing is our foundation, and we all kind of have an inherent knowledge of what we do well. And that could be just communicating on a regular basis. I think in real estate we're all people. I think that we know common sense for most, in most circumstances to spend the time to do what you really do well. So if traditional marketing or traditional things in business are serving you well, continue to do those. But if you're starting to get this creative urge in your business to change your business model, add something new to it. Maybe it's video marketing, and you've been an amazing example this year of adding video marketing. This is something that agents can learn from. Take someone that can be your mentor, that can give you, and follow them. So if you're going to choose to be distracted, choose the thought leaders and the mentors and the people that do what you want to do well. And I'm going to speak directly to Raj, who's coming up next. I mean, if you're looking into getting into video marketing, this is one of the great mentors to follow. But spend that time focusing on what you do well, really get to the nitty-gritty of how to execute and implement on all of these different ideas, and then reach out to the people that you know in your space, in your sphere, that really know how to do this well and get their tips. Follow them closely, and you'll be able to reach your goals much faster. Everyone's always willing to help.
Couldn't agree more. Everyone's willing to help, Dave. I mean, that's been the whole thing. We reached out to 12 people. Everyone we reached out to said yes. They're all willing to share. So
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Thank you, Laura. As once again, you can get Laura on Twitter at Laura Monroe, and she's got a webinar coming up with Valerie Garcia, who's coming.
I do. I'm so excited. Yes, we're really excited. It's going to be, some of the new digital marketing predictions for 2014.
Fantastic.
So we're going to round up a lot of new things that we're starting to see for 2014. So super excited.
Fantastic.
Thanks
Thank you,
again,
Laura.
you
Have
guys.
a great holidays. We'll talk to you in the new year.
I'll be watching. Yes, same to you.
Great stuff.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
Up next, we have Raj Qsar, who you can get on Twitter at Raj Qsar, and he is the principal owner of the Boutique Real Estate Group. TheBoutiqueRE.com is where you can get him. Raj, welcome back to the show. Oh, Is he muted? Here we go.
He's
not muted. No, he's not muted. He's not muted. I think this is what we had last time with Raj. And Raj, you have to go ahead and get Mr. Technology, Mr. Jeremy.
Okay, I'm here.
He's back.
Oh, there you are. Good. We hear you.
What's up, David? What's up, Michael? How are you?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Hey, Michael, you know what I like about this whole format in the show today? Everybody's all dressed up. This is cool.
Well, you know,
You're dressed up.
I dressed up because people like Raj are coming on. I think Raj is always looking good.
Yeah, he does.
It's the rules. It's the rules of Orange County, I think.
That's right. That's exactly. I got to keep up.
Yeah, you do. You do. Oh, by the way, I mean, we only got 5 minutes with you, Raj. It's not a lot of time to have someone like you on the show. And Laura just said these are the people. You're one of the people we should be looking up to and following. And I'm definitely one of those people. But you've got to go see Raj's blooper reel with Jeremy the other day during the video. It just lets you know, don't take yourself seriously. You make mistakes, but then go ahead and look at the final product, which I saw the other day. It's fabulous, and that's what video is. It's not what you think it is at the end. It's a process through it. So there you go.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly it. You never know what you're actually going to say when you're behind that camera. You have no idea. And then the fun part is putting it all together because you have no idea what it's going to look like. So Jeremy and I have a ton of fun. The whole team has a ton of fun.
Perfect. So we asked you, Raj, to come on, share something with our audience that's going to help them in their 2014. So we've got you here. We really appreciate you coming on. Over to you, and you can take it away. Give us a nugget.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, David. Well, I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and really I wanted to throw something out there that I think most agents would really kind of hold on to, and maybe it could be kind of their hashtag for the whole year. But I really want people to be genuinely strategic in everything they do. Genuinely strategic in everything they do. And that's twofold. We got to remember our business is still a service-based business, right? Yeah, we shoot videos and we're shooting killer photos and we're storyboarding our life basically online, but we got to remember it's still about people, right? People matter still. And I think that's a huge thing, and Deb Trappen touched on that a little bit. Once you take the me, as in the me, out of it, and you focus on the you, as in your client, I think doors will just swing open for most agents. So this takes me back to a book I read a long time ago, and it's kind of stuck with me, but it's written by Sun Tzu. It's called The Art of War. I'm sure
Absolutely.
You guys have heard of it, right?
Absolutely.
So something I took out of there, and I kind of feel like as agents we're literally on the battlefield, right? We're totally in the battlefield. I mean, we're battling to get our buyers into a home, and there's multiple offers. We're battling for listings, one to get listings and then get the right buyers into those listings. But here's the thing. If you have one strategy, he says, if you have one strategy, you're highly likely to succeed. Okay? So you guys, if you're tweeting this out, please tweet this out. One strategy, you're highly likely to succeed. And here's the thing. Most agents want to be everything. They want to be the social media director. They want to be the stager. They want to be the photographer. They want to be the guy behind the camera or the gal behind the camera. They want to be the one controlling the aerial quadcopter that's going up over that $1 zillion listing, right? And then manage our transaction as well. You just can't do it all. There's too much required of us to be able to do all of that, right? So one strategy, whatever that is, whatever you're absolutely passionate about, just knock it out of the park. You know why? Because if you have two strategies, you're twice as likely to fail. And if you have 3 strategies, you're 3 times as likely to fail, right? So that is my takeaway for everyone out there for 2014. Have one strategy, knock it out of the park, be genuinely strategic about that one strategy that you pick.
Dave, it's kind of a common theme that we've talked about, and it's a lot of successful people. Laura just said keep your head down, right? Stay focused. Raj just said that, you know, our strategy is just take care, like over care for our clients and don't worry about tomorrow. That's always been our motto, right? That's what we've talked about many, many times. And it says it a different way, but what Raj is saying, once again, don't be everything to everybody, just be the one thing and get it and hit it out of the park. Focus. Be really highly skilled at one thing and ignore the distractions.
What he said hits home for me because, you know, that's been our struggle to get to another level is I'm doing a lot of things, and I just need to. I need to really take heed to what he said. It's great advice. It's great advice for everybody.
Awesome.
I couldn't agree more. Hey, Raj, I'm really excited. I mean, you've got you're opening what, office number 3 now? You're going to Orange County on the coast?
3 would be nice. It's office number 2.
Okay.
We're going to be right there with all the big boys in coastal Orange County, hitting that luxury market with kind of full steam ahead. I mean, our team is so excited. We're actually celebrating tonight down in Newport Beach, kind of our Christmas party, but it's also a huge celebration for the opening of this office. This is literally like, you've got emails from me. My tagline on my email says, "Just a guy with a dream." This is truly a bucket list item for us as we hit the coast of Orange County.
Yeah, I mean, you had slightly mentioned to it when I bumped into you in Anaheim. That's sort of where you wanted to end up, and you stay your head down and you do a great job, and here you are, you're doing it. So congratulations on that, Raj. All the best to you in that. And what Laura said is truly what people should be doing. If you're thinking about visual things you should be doing visually, Raj Qsar and what they're doing at Boutique Real Estate Group is what you should be following. It does an amazing job, Raj. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Have a great holidays. And
next time you're in Orange County, next time you're in front of my office, at least give me like a 5-minute warning, you know?
Yeah, you know, I'm a busy guy here, Raj. I don't have
come on.
Warnings. Awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks, Raj.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Appreciate it.
So we've got invites out right now to Cory Vasquez and Teri Conrad. But interesting, Dave, you and I talked before we got on the show about, you know, the distraction, and then Laura Monroe comes on, or Debra comes on and says, get really clear about who you are and what your core values are. Be very, very clear. And then Laura Monroe comes on and says, bury your head and get the work done. Generally strategic is what Raj Qsar says. One thing, just focus on doing it really, really, really well. And we all get torn on that, right? We all get distracted by it, and especially in a world today that's moving, you know, really, really, really quickly. We all get distracted around, and it's a common theme that everyone's mentioned so far.
It's actually eerie that you and I should talk about it. First two guests, this is not script. We have no idea what they're going to say, and they come on and they say the exact thing that we just kind of had a general little talk about here. Yeah. And look who's sneaking their head in there.
Our next guest is Cory Vasquez. You can get her on Twitter at CJ Vasquez. She's the Senior Manager, Social Media and Digital Marketing for RE/MAX LLC. Cory is in the middle of her Christmas office party right now.
Look at the dedication there.
She snuck away and she's joined us. And so right across the hall, there's eggnog in moose cups, and there you go.
Check that out.
Oh, you got one? That's hilarious. I said it sarcastically to you yesterday.
Yeah, the problem is I have an issue, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's empty. It's empty. Well, Cory, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for giving us 5 minutes. You're sort of really ramp things up there at LLC when it comes to social. It seems this year. I mean, I'm new, but it seems like it really picked up a lot of steam this year. So we want to hand the show over to you and give our audience, that's primarily RE/MAX agents, a nugget or something to take away that's team.
Yep, and you're right, Michael. We have a great leadership team here at RE/MAX, starting with Dave Liniger, of course, and Margaret Kelly. They're old school folks, though, right? We've done a lot of traditional media in the past, but they latched on to social media early, and in the last couple of years, they really put a push behind it. So we're excited, but we have to be out there from a brand perspective, but also out there to help our agents utilize it effectively. So we put a lot more strategy behind that as well. One of the things, and I'll just introduce this really quick, you mentioned Social Me. You're going to be doing them next time, I think, in January.
Yeah, January 10th.
Perfect. That's a new group that we're working with, a local company here out of Denver, fantastic group who really understands the real estate industry, and we've created a platform with them that will help our agents generate some more content on social media. It's something that we hear from our agents all the time. They struggle with, what can I put out there that's valuable? And Raja said earlier, make sure it's valuable, make sure it's good content that makes sense, and that group is going to help us do that and help our agents do that. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, one of the things we want to talk to them about is Cory, when they get on the show, is do you find that there can be a mixture of great content coming to you from someone like a Social Me, and then you got to put your own personal spin on stuff too as well, and let people know what your core values are. Like Debra Trappen said at the beginning of the show, I don't know if you were over at the Christmas party, but go back and look at your last 11 posts on Facebook, and that'll give you an indication of, you know, sort of who you are, sort of your voice. So how do you think that agents are going to find it with a program like that to sort of do a little bit of both?
It's a great question, Michael, and it honestly makes me very nervous partnering with a company like that, because I didn't want to take the authenticity out of social media. That to me is the core of why we're doing it. So people get to know who you are and not just the general content. But I think the content that Social Me is going to be pushing out to our agents is content of substance, and really we're educating our agents to kind of wrap their personality around that substance. They're experts in their market. They know real estate industry. Sometimes they just need a little extra content to get them moving. But I've really seen them pick up in the last year, and I've seen them do some fantastic things with social media by putting their personalities into it, and I love to see that. Excellent.
So what you've got some plans now for RE/MAX. What is 2014? What is this coming from the top down? What's on the agenda when it comes to sort of digital marketing from head office?
Yeah, you know what? We've always, we've always been a traditional advertising company, which has been fantastic. It's built our brand into a global brand. But because of traditional advertising, we've always been talking at people instead of with them. So in the last couple of years, social media has meant a lot to us because we've been able to have that conversation with our consumers and even our agents or potential recruits directly, and we get to talk to them in social media. And I guess this is one tip I would give our agents that I've learned doing social media at RE/MAX is you got to take the little wins with you and build on them. Little wins for me are connecting with a consumer on Twitter who was looking for a real estate agent, was having difficulty. We reached out to them on Twitter and were able to make a connection. That may seem like a little win, but it has exponential possibilities. And so I want our agents, I tell them all the time, reach out, whether you've selected Facebook as kind of your primary network or Twitter or YouTube, reach out. Sometimes you get an audience of 2 people and you may think, why am I doing this? Is this really worth it? But those little tiny wins, maybe you get a referral or maybe someone just says, hey, thanks for tweeting me, are fantastic. They're feel-good moments. Take those and build on your strategy with it.
Perfect. Perfect. Teri, our text is going back and forth. You're going to be muted for a second, Teri, but Cory, we're going to finish up with Cory right now. But yeah, I know it's so like the fact that 2 people are watching this show, or 5 or 100.
Yeah.
You can't underestimate the value of that. And another thing that I really like, it's you and it's leadership there at RE/MAX, is if you go back and you look at the RE/MAX Twitter feed, not how it comes through your feed, but go back and look, there's a lot of interactions, a lot of thank yous, and how can we help, and we appreciate that, and why don't you try this? That's really the personal part of the brand is something, on a larger scale is so very important. But when it's just an individual, we really have to embrace that reaching out and that care that we can do now at a much larger scale than we could in the past.
Absolutely. I'm a super competitive person, but I love the franchises that we work with and on social media. And I'll tell you what, we will often look for people who are tweeting with the hashtag house hunting, and we'll just talk to them and say, hey, whomever you're using as an agent, we wish you the best of luck. We really want people. We want to see people in the home of their dreams. And so they may have used a different agent other than a RE/MAX agent to make that home purchase, but they may refer us to their friends, or they may just have a really good feeling about RE/MAX and the brand, and that we actually do care and we like to see people in their homes. So that's, again, those are the wins that I take out of them. Little tweets every once in a while that say, hey, thanks so much for chiming in. We found our house and we appreciate it. Those are huge, and I hate to get too intrinsic, but those are just feel-good moments that help me realize that there really is a value and a point to doing social media.
Absolutely. Cory, thank you very much. Go fill up that moose cup. Go say hi to everyone for us at the Christmas party, and obviously you'll be at R4, and Dave and I will make sure that we come and see you. Dave, anything you wanted to say right there?
No, just other than to thank Cory for the leadership that you guys provide in this thing. There's a lot of agents out here resist it, and your leadership is key to make the company, where we are today. I really appreciate it, for one. I've been here a long time, and the things that International does, we couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, hey guys, 2 thumbs up to you guys for paving the way on stuff like Mobile Agent TV. We appreciate it so much. That comes from Margaret, Dave, and myself. So happy holidays, everybody. Ho, ho, ho.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go fill up that moose mug. All right, thanks, Cory. Up next, we have Teri Conrad, who has become almost a regular on the show. I think this is 3rd visit for Teri. I don't know if she's muted or not. Sometimes when you come in, you're muted, Teri, when you're the 4th one. But you can get Teri on Twitter at Teri Conrad. T-E-R-I. I don't know how often you have to say that, but welcome back to the show, Teri.
Thanks for having me, you guys. It's great to see you. This is fun. I love this idea.
Well, yeah, it's, you know, Dave and I usually talk too much. Dave doesn't talk enough, and we just get to sit back and listen to really, really smart people all give us a nugget. So, Teri, we know sort of people that watch the show regularly know sort of what you're passionate about, and it's usually that conversation and that why that we've touched on a couple other times today too as well. But you said that you've got something great to share with us, so we've got 5 minutes with you. We really appreciate it. So, Teri, we'll hand it over to you, and it's all yours.
Well, you know, so Debra and Laura and Raj have all talked about pretty much everything that I was going to throw at you, of course. I will say this. I think it's really important to execute on your why, and I think I'm going to spin it a little bit and say really get deliberate with how you want to design your life this year. So I've always said, you know, you can redefine success however it means to you. And when I talk about success, I'm talking about more than just in business. I think you're successful when everything lines up in your life. So it's your relationships, your time, your money as well. All those things matter, not just whether or not you're top agent. And I've worked with a lot of agents that I think really wrestle with, well, you know, I need to be the best broker in my office, or I need to do a number of deals to feel like I've made it, or whatever it may be. And I think that that's a misnomer, and frankly, it's not going to resonate with everybody. And I think that this can be the year that everyone gets really true with themselves and leave ego at the door. And Debra talked about values. I'm big on values. And I really feel like, you know, if you streamline and focus, like Raj said, you know, pick your one strategy and really focus on that. But it has to resonate for you. It can't be somebody else's dream. And, you know, I've seen so many people that, you know, work really, really hard to get there just to discover that that isn't what makes them happy. So I think it's really important to be real and honest with yourself, especially today in this noisy, noisy world, hey Dave, where everybody's just screaming and running and jumping up and down for attention. I just feel like, you know, at the end of the day, being internet famous or, you know, being top producer or any of those things, if those aren't really your passion, if that's not really who you are or what's going to be meaningful for you in your life and for your family and your friends, then, you know, table it, shelf it, and find something else that's more true for you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And funny, we talked about that on the last show on goal setting. Jonathan in his car will be with you in just a moment, sir. We talked about the last show about goal setting. Is if you're really not going to enjoy the journey to the goal, because it's really not about the goal, right? I mean, it's about the journey to the goal. So if you're not really in love with that journey to the goal, man, you know, I've got 2 young boys, and production's important to me, and getting them through college is important to me, but not as much as not having great balance in my life. I mean, I'm not driven by that. I'm driven by having this really great life and balance and enjoying the journey.
Completely agree. And you're living your passion right now, Michael. I mean, obviously, like this show with you and Dave, you guys are doing this not because it's driving your business so much as it's something that you love to do, and it's your way of giving back and developing your relationships and continuing your own learning, and it's fulfilling for you personally, and so that's why I think it really resonates and people enjoy the show so much. I have one final message, which is this is your one and only life. You know, how are you going to live it? And decide for yourself what that means, and forget what everybody else thinks or feels about it, and just get really clear and honest with yourself.
Spooky, once again, Teri, before you leave us, Dave, honestly, turn around and tell me what that sign says behind you. We just talked about it before the show started.
Well, it says the pain to discipline far outweighs the pain of regret. And, I mean, that's spot on what you're talking about. It's like, you know, it's kind of late when you get to the destination and you find out, this isn't what I thought it was going to be.
Bingo.
You know, you're hitting it right on. You got to get up every day, and you got to like what you're doing on a daily, but forget where the destination is. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. It's like, tomorrow, that's it. That's the only destination there is. It's great. It's good stuff.
Awesome. And I just got my Jab, 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 Right Hook book yesterday from Gary. He actually sent it over to me, which was kind of a thrill. And I'm going to be digging into that. But I mean, just the final little piece there, Dave, is, you know, give, right? And that's, I know you guys do that all the time.
Thanks, Teri. Hey, maybe we'll catch up for a holiday drink before Christmas. We're in the same hood as well as the next guest on the show. So Merry Christmas to you and to Todd, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.
You got a date.
Thanks, Teri.
Bye.
Thank you. Great stuff. Love it.
Up next, we have Jonathan Christian, who is the owner of We Make Stuff Happen. You can get him at WeMakeStuffHappen.com and on Twitter at JDGem. Jonathan, welcome to the show. Can you hear me? Are you muted? Oh, he might be frozen. He's in a car. See, this is the thing. This is true mobile agent TV. He's sitting in a car with a sunroof. I'm going to fire out another invite to him. And I'm also going to fire an invite out to Valerie Garcia.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll fire those out. But, you know, it's these things. We've been talking about this now, episode number 37, Dave, about people coming on that are all sort of cut from the same cloth. They have the same passion. They have the same, and that's the reason why they're these leaders in these industry is, there are some people that don't want to step out and sort of be, but everyone that we've had on the show is very clear on themselves. They're very, very clear. And that seems to be a running theme of the whole thing. Here we go. Mr. JD Gem. We can hear
Hey.
The message is consistent. There he is.
Jonathan.
It froze. I was sitting here and everything froze.
Well, I'm just saying, Jonathan, how much this is just like Mobile Agent TV, that Jonathan's out on the road. He's from his car. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You can get him at WeMakeStuffHappen.com. A really great guy that really embodies giving. Jonathan, we know each other through social media initially. I had a question. He had an answer. We had a cup of coffee, and we've become friends since. So, Jonathan, very, very smart guy in the social space. So, Jonathan, thank you for coming on the show. We've asked you just 5 minutes to give us a nugget, to give something for our viewers that will help them in 2014. So, Jonathan, we'll turn it over to you.
Sure. I literally just stepped out of a barn where we're actually filming. We work with a kitchen cabinet company, and they actually make their own doors. So we just we're doing a photo shoot for a new brochure, and literally that's what I'm doing, and that's what I wanted to lead into, is about being authentic and telling your story. That's what I talk about all the time, and I think what makes one realtor over and above anybody else is who they are as a person, who they are as a family, and who they are as a professional. And social media is just so good for telling that story. So more and more, I'm just living my life online, not too personally, and not to say look at me, but to just be authentic. And I think that in 2014 is going to stick out more than anything else, is who you are as a person. The brand's key. The service, is without question. But who you are as an individual, is going to make the difference. And this thing is it. This, remarkably gets used more for not talking than talking. Even though we call it a phone, it's not. So for me, a couple of the nuggets that I was going to bring today was Facebook, Twitter, Google+. That's a given. It should be normal now that you're using those as tools. If you're not into Twitter, that's okay. Don't try and beat yourself up if it doesn't work for you, but if it does, obviously do it. But what I'm finding is that I and many other people suffer from what I call social media ADHD, is that there's so many screens and so many opportunities and so many squirrels running around that you don't know where to start. But if we're like that, then our clients are like that too. So play to it. And let's start using, Michael, your Vine the other day about giving blood and cookies, and helping people. I used that in a workshop. It was fantastic. Gary Vaynerchuk is doing Vines all the time, and some people are like, I wouldn't do business with him. He's horrible. Because he sort of comes over a little gruff. So forget the gruffness, but bring in the ingenuity. And then, here's my tip for 2014, Snapchat. There's something about Snapchat that we don't know yet. Is that if Facebook were willing to give them $3 billion to get them off the market, they can see more potential than most people. And it's not just for 12-year-old kids, showing the gum in their teeth and just doing a duck face. It's going to be business. And I think if you've got an open house and you've got a lot of your clients on Snapchat, I would be teasing the crap out of them about what they're missing in 9 seconds. So I would start Snapchatting little teasers. You can create a group and you can send it out to multiple people and say, I'm listing this house. Nobody's seen it. You get 9 seconds. Call me. And I honestly believe that is a huge business application that's going to come out next year. And early adopters, once again, will have the edge on that. It's not just kids. $3 billion bid, and they said, no, come on. There's something huge there. So for me, it's about being authentic, coming up with tips that just tease the heck out of people that they want to know more, and they're going to call you, because the whole idea of social media is to take a social online relationship on land, on the driveway, in the house, showing them around, building that reputation, keeping in touch with them, seeing where they went on their holiday, finding out all the stuff that they do through the year so that when you have that call from them, you know exactly who they are and where they've been, and you follow on as if you just had coffee with them the week before. And if you can use your social for that, and then start using this new stuff for teasing, for tease marketing, drip marketing, I think it's going to be fantastic.
You know, and Jonathan, that's what Dave said. You know, Dave's really about a belly guy. You know, he wants to get in, and you are that person that walks the walk. We first interacted on Twitter, and we had a cup of coffee. You know, and that's the thing, is it's getting it to real life, and I don't think social gets enough credit for being an avenue to belly to belly, and I think it's a fabulous avenue to belly. So, Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on the show. We have a little Christmas get-together on Monday. I will see you there, sir. Thank you very much, and happy holidays to you and your amazing family.
Happy Christmas. Bye.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Up next, we have Valerie Garcia, who you can get on Twitter at Valerie Garcia1, and she is a technology coach and corporate trainer at RE/MAX Ontario Atlantic. Valerie, welcome to the show. Oh, she's muted. Do I unmute you or you unmute you? I think you unmute you.
Okay, you're right.
There you go.
You're always right.
She's a technology coach. Welcome, Valerie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I have a bit of a
Good.
cold. Little bit of a cold, but otherwise great. How are you guys?
Good. You're really
Doing
Christmassy.
great.
Green and red there. Way to
Well,
go.
our Christmas party is right after this. I'm actually leaving from here to our Christmas party, so.
Hey, Michael, I told you, everybody's dressing up. This is really cool.
I
We-
know. I
this is
actually
great.
tweeted out how spiffy you look, Michael.
Oh, I felt it had to be. You know, I get this reputation of being in these T-shirts because that's what we do in the white screen. But I usually look pretty good. I think. But I appreciate that. The mustache is gone, so that helps.
Yep, very much so.
So Valerie, we did talk about real quickly with Laura that you're going to be on the Inman News webinar, I think on the 10th, which is really exciting. And you had a great video. I don't know if it's out there for everyone to see, talking about sort of the predictions of 2014. Really interesting and amazing talk. You're a fantastic speaker, Valerie. But we've asked you to come on for 5 minutes to give some value to our audience. So we'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, you know, I was kind of thinking for the last couple days about what I was going to say today, and I knew I was, you know, in a group of amazingly smart and wonderful people, and I'm going to try and get through this without coughing. Please bear with me.
You got it.
So just being real, that's all. Don't worry.
Hey, you know, it's that
You're
time
a
of year.
trooper.
And so I was thinking about, you know, like what everybody else was going to share and what the most important thing I think for me is going forward with this year. And I think we've had a lot on the same theme already today. Though a lot of people have come on and talked about, you know, focus and authenticness and, you know, all of those things. And I think I'm kind of thinking along the same lines. And it really sort of came to me last night. I was doing laundry and I was thinking to myself, my God, you know, like someday when I win the lottery, I'm not going to do laundry anymore. I'm going to pay somebody to do this. Right? And so I really started thinking about doing the laundry, and as I usually do, I have a conversation with my husband about what's going to happen when I win the lottery. And you know, I started really thinking about the fact that a lot of my students, a lot of our agents and our network are always talking about winning the lottery, you know, in their business. They're talking about someday I'm going to have this website, or I'm going to really conquer social, or I'm going to start doing video, and then I'm going to have all these leads and I'm going to have all this more business. And I've really been thinking about that, and that really, for us, is kind of like that someday this is going to happen, and everybody kind of talks that way about their business. But the reality is, I mean, we've kind of all seen those reality shows, right, where when you win the lottery, basically it ruins your life, right? And all of a sudden you have all this money and all these things that you thought was going to happen to you, they somehow kind of go the wrong way. And so I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, you know, like, I really think the next year there's going to be so many changes and so much opportunity in our industry, and we have so many opportunities to really embrace some of this stuff that is going to bring us more business. But I think we need to kind of go back a little bit to before we buy the lottery ticket and think about having some systems in place that are going to prepare us for when we do win the lottery. So, I really want everyone who's listening today and all of the agents in our networks to win the lottery in terms of their business. I want them to have all the leads in the business they want, but at the same time, I don't want it to ruin their business. So I think 2014, the very first goal for everybody should be step back and really have a system for everything, and prepare for when you do win the lottery in your business. Have a system for your leads, have a lead incubation system, have a CRM. And then once you have those systems in place, go out and start buying your lottery tickets. Go out and prospect in that way that you want to try, or try videos, or try all that new stuff like social media or things that maybe you aren't incorporating into your business now. But when you get to that point and you start doing those things, we know that stuff's going to work. We've seen it work. And so we know that at that point that's going to be a winning lottery ticket for those agents. But they're going to have the systems in place. They're going to know that when that happens, they're going to be able to incorporate all of that stuff into their business as it is and just continue to grow and envelop it without it really sort of ruining their business. So I hope that made sense the way I kind of felt like it made sense in my head.
Yeah, because you know what, I agree with you. If you try to, when you get busy, then you realize you need to implement systems, you'll take your foot off the gas or the snowball rolling, and you'll end up starting all over again. You just without those systems in place, it just constantly getting up to speed and then falling back and getting up to speed. Dave, I mean, you're a big systems guy, right?
Yep, absolutely. Without just checklists and things like that. We were just talking about it before. We came upon a little glitch where it cost us some time. We missed something. It wasn't on the checklist, so we put it in the checklist. We have these systems, and everybody works on the same page. Systems are the key. I mean, it's so spot on. It's the key to running a successful business. Yeah. There's no limit to what you can do if you have the right systems in place.
And Valerie, I mean, you're the technology coach. With the technology that we have in 2013 versus 1992 when I started, systems are much easier now given Evernote or all the other options that we have. I mean, a lot of the things we do isn't just a book around with us that we keep notes in. Systems can be much easier to implement now given a little bit of knowledge with some technologies that are out there.
Yeah, and I think that's so true. And sometimes we overthink what systems need to be, and sometimes it just needs to be a simple checklist, like Dave was saying, or it could be just an app or something that helps us get a certain portion of our business in order, so that when those good things start to happen, and when we start buying those lottery tickets and start embracing those new technologies, that we're better prepared to handle them. And so I think that's really it. And when I say get back to basics, for me it's prepare the basics of your business with those systems to prepare to start to accommodate all those great things that are going to happen when those opportunities come up.
Fabulous.
Too late. It's too late once you have all of that business. If you don't have systems in place,
that's right.
And all of a sudden your business starts to crank itself up, you will just get overwhelmed and you'll quit or you'll burn out. Systems are key.
Yeah. Absolutely. Valerie, thank you so much for coming on the show. Dave and I really want to send an extra special thank you out to you. We started this back in February. You have been one of, if not our biggest supporter when it comes to, giving us feedback and encouraging other people to sort of get involved. You've come on the show numerous times. One time from an airport that lasted 5 minutes before the Wi-Fi dropped out in SeaTac. But we really appreciate it. You've been sort of one of those really champions for what we're doing here, and it means a lot to Dave and I.
Well, Dave, I want to take it. I'll let Dave talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, let Dave give you a compliment.
I just say the same thing Michael said. It's like, I've said this. My RE/MAX is now traded on the stock exchange. So here's the key: clone Valerie, and put her in every region in the system, and then go buy RE/MAX stock. That's my key. I watch her from afar. She's invaluable to you guys. It's just it's incredible what she does.
You guys are far too kind. But I just want to say a very special thank you to both of you on behalf of everyone who watches the show. You guys have done an amazing thing for RE/MAX this year, and we can only imagine the great things that you're going to bring next year. We're really excited.
Thank you. And go enjoy your Christmas holidays, please, or your Christmas party. Valerie, get better. We need you in top shape for Kickstart.
I'm working on it. This is my proactive cold. If I have it now, I don't have it at Christmas.
See, systems. Systems. Awesome. Thanks, Valerie. We'll talk to you very, very soon. We appreciate it. So we've got invites out to to Virginia Munden right now, and Travis Robertson. Now, very interesting, Travis Robertson's in between coaching calls, and we reached out to him and asked him to come on the show, and I had an opportunity to hear him speak in, like I said, at the Canadian conference. Go back and watch his episode. I think one of the ones that really just, as far as looking forward, you still need, like you said, Dave, many times on the show, things are changing. Things are changing, and Travis's episode was one of those ones where it's not even a social change. It's about a new generation coming through that's larger than any previous generation, and it's not. It'll change. It changes every generation. You can't undo what's happening right now with the way things, communication for sure is being interrupted.
You're a pile of technology on top of a different group of people, and it's just it can be overwhelming, but it's kind of cool. Like I've always said, I'm taking care of myself. I want to see what's going to happen. Now we got drones that are going to deliver pizzas. Did you hear about that?
I read that. Now, is that Domino's that wants to do that? Domino's wants to attach your.
It was a 60 Minutes thing about Amazon, and Amazon has a.
Oh, that's right, Amazon.
But they had done a video prior about it with Domino's showing how, in theory, and when there's something like this in theory, you know it's going to happen. They said 3 to 5 years. That just means a year to 2. That there's going to be a drone delivering a pizza to your front door. I was just like, it's crazy, this stuff. It's just crazy, but it's fun. It's like what makes life interesting, to me anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going to fire off. I know she's watching right now. I don't, Virginia, if you can get on, but let's set an invite up to Melanie, and she can co-host with us through the rest of the show and bring her on, because I know she's got a lot she wants to talk about too as well. And if she's on the show during Travis's segment and Virginia's, if we can get them on, that'll be great too as well.
Our last three. There's our last three.
There's our last three, and I said to you at the beginning, now that we're in this, and I know that Melanie is going to get the invite, I said if we get 10 of our 12 on without any issues, we're good. We're at 9. We're at 9 of our 12 have made it on the show. We're 55 minutes in. I'm breathing a sigh of relief because Google hasn't played nice with us throughout the entire year all the time. So there you go. The fact that
we've been like spot on, boom, boom, boom.
It's been good. A couple out of order, but nonetheless. But talking about focus, I had a nice little chat back and forth on Facebook with Melanie last night. And she is one of these people that just keep driving forward. She learns something, and her curiosity. This is one of the things. When I'm talking about video or with paperless, it's not about lack of knowledge or access to knowledge anymore. Everyone has the same access to the information. It's, are you curious to want to learn it now? Because you're a Fiverr away or a YouTube search away or anyone away from getting something accomplished now. It's, do you have the curiosity to push forward? When we first started the show back in February, you had even mentioned, Dave, that Google Plus wasn't sort of in your resume, and Hangouts certainly weren't, and you're like, let's do it, and that's your personality has been all the time. You said, let's take some new technology, find out if it can be effective, and if it is, I'll implement it, and if it's not, I'll get rid of it because I'm not going to be distracted by it. So.
Well, it's the distraction part. It's like, because I have got distracted by going through the learning curves of it. Now I kind of know for now, until it changes, kind of what works best for me. And that's been the theme today anyway, hasn't it? Put your head down, do the work.
It certainly has, and yeah, it certainly has. And the other one, if I were to have another theme, and Laura, sorry. I'm trying to talk and type at the same time. As a man, that is very, very difficult. If Virginia Munden was on the show, she would. I wore good shoes, Virginia Munden. I wore good shoes.
There's Melanie. All right.
There's Melanie Galea. But if Travis was, anyway, I want to tell you what Travis said. Oh, Chris Spiecher. Where we miss Chris Spiecher. Let's send an invite up to Chris Spiecher. Oh my goodness gracious, he's on the show too. Chris, I apologize. We'll get Chris on the show. Melanie, if you were hanging out with us for the rest of the time, you're hanging out with us the rest of the time. I just jinxed myself. We only had 8 of the 12 now, Dave. Now, I just said it, and now I've jinxed myself. We're moving a little bit.
9. There's 9. Melanie's here. It's 9.
Melanie's 9, but Chris says that sometimes when he's on these hangouts or webinars, his pants are optional, and that's something that Travis Robertson said about it. So, And I thought, well, that's not a really nice thing to say about Chris Spiecher. And then Chris Spiecher, here he is. Pants? Does he have pants on? Oh, and Travis. Oh my goodness gracious. Travis, you and Chris are both muted, so you can unmute yourself. Travis, how much time do you have?
Hang on. Are you there?
Yeah. Chris, you're muted too as well.
All right. What up, Chris? I technically have 0 time, but hang on 1 second.
All right.
Let me do this. I'm going to see if we can't put back some stuff up.
Okay. Chris Spiecher, have you unmuted yourself?
There I go. I unmuted myself.
Do you have pants on?
No comment.
Travis was
my
throwing you
wife
under the bus.
Peggy Lynn's actually sitting right here, so the answer is no.
No. Awesome. I knew you weren't wearing pants.
Travis,
I love this group.
Travis, your time is limited.
Yeah, go with Travis.
I'm not saying that Chris's isn't or Melanie's is not, but we knew going in that we had you for a little bit of time. Travis, you can get him on Twitter at TravisRO, and his website is travisrobertson.com. He's a real estate coach. Go ahead, Travis, and you've got 5 minutes. Give us a nugget that's going to help us in 2014.
You know what? I was really thinking about this, and I know probably I haven't heard the conversations, but based off of what I've heard, I know there's been a lot of conversation around kind of goals and kind of focusing in on something. And one of the things I was thinking about as I've been wrapping up the year with a lot of our clients and planning into next year is this concept that most of us already know what we have to do to grow our business, but we oftentimes look for the shiny objects. Sorry.
And Kelly Mitchell. Oh my goodness gracious, we are behind time. Kelly Mitchell, this is going to be a legendary episode. Kelly, hang on. You're in Hawaii. You haven't even woken up yet. Travis, back to you. Thank you.
All right. So, hi, Kelly. So the idea here is that, you know, if I were to ask anybody on the call right now or that's watching right now, do you know of one thing you can do right now that would change your business and that you could implement immediately, that if you did that would start to change your business? Almost everybody on this hangout could say, absolutely, I know something I need to do. But what we oftentimes are looking for is that shiny object distraction to keep us from doing what we really know we need to do. And as a result, we're just chasing from one idea to another idea to another idea instead of focusing in on something that we already know. We're running around and we're looking for a new app. We're looking for a new idea. We're looking to anything that we just will see as that silver bullet, that magic button that we can just hit and it will change our business, but it doesn't exist. What changes our business is us actually focusing in, doing the work that we know we need to do, and having that accountability to actually implement it. Because most people lack that accountability, and if we already know what we need to do but we're not doing it, the question is why? Why aren't we already doing what we know we need to do? For most people, it's because they lack that accountability and that support, and those people that are going to hold them to doing what they say they're committed to doing. And real estate, you know, we talk about it. It's a lonely business in a lot of ways because you're kind of in competition, and if you don't have a team,
oh no, see, doing
what you're supposed to do that day, helping you stay focused. If you've got a team, you've got kind of that built-in accountability. But if it's just you, you could slack one day and really nobody's going to know, right? You can go home and your spouse be like, hey, baby, how was work? You're like, oh, so busy, really just busy. Like, really, what'd you do? I don't really know, but I was busy, right? And the reason is because we can get so off track if we don't have that accountability. So what I would encourage you to do, figure out if you already know what you could do right now to grow your business, go do that. Don't jump on Twitter, don't jump on Facebook, don't look to the next app, don't look for the next shiny object. Just go implement that one thing. Go do it and then move on to the next thing that you know you could do. Stop chasing silver bullets. Stop looking for somebody else to fix your business. It's up to you. And then build in some accountability. Hire a coach. Find somebody that's going to hold you accountable. Talk to a broker, a manager, anybody who's going to hold you accountable to what it is that you say you're going to do, because that's ultimately why coaching works. And you know, Chris can attest to this, and a lot of other people on the Hangout can attest to this. Melanie can attest to this. Is that coaching works because of that accountability. It's not a silver bullet, but it does hold you to what it is that you say you're going to do. So that's, in a real big nutshell, kind of rambling nutshell, what my
no, it's not even rambling. In fact, if there's, and I don't want to talk about Gary's book all the time, but if there's the most important chapter, it's chapter number 9. It's effort. Like there's all these other things, but without effort, there's nothing else that really goes on. But Travis, as someone who sort of talks about the millennial generation, if we're doing something that works, and we've been in the business for 20 years, and the returns are diminishing and diminishing and diminishing, you can't say focus on one thing and just sink with the ship. How? And maybe it's a bigger question than 5 minutes. But how do you then say maybe it is time to switch your focus? And probably more now, as a realtor that's been doing it for 20 years, there's more agents that should be switching their focus now than ever before, and that isn't giving good service. That stays the same. Taking care of the client, that stays the same. But maybe some of the other stuff just doesn't return the same way it did prior. Advice on that?
You know, I'll tell you what's interesting is I think that we are so fast to ring the death knell for things and to go, oh, offline marketing's dead. Oh, this is dead. Oh, that's dead. And I'll tell you what, the things that are working better than anything else right now, it's the face-to-face, it's the offline marketing, it's not the online marketing. Not that I'm not a big fan of online marketing sites like Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com or investing the money in online, but at the end of the day, what's really working is that offline stuff, especially even with that next generation, because let's be honest, we don't get anything in the mail unless mom sends us a birthday card. So if you're reaching out to them, sending handwritten notes, that's something that's gaining in popularity among our generation because nobody's doing it, and it's kind of cool to get something in the mail. So I think that, yeah, we need to make sure that we're focused on things that work, and you can't necessarily go advertising in the yellow pages. But I'll tell you, there are people that do advertise in the yellow pages in certain markets and in certain demographics that still kill it. So it's not dead, it's just changing, and we have to understand that, abandoning things from all the time, and we're so quick to abandon something and try and move on to something else because we are looking for that shiny object. But if we realize that, yeah, things are shifting, the market is shifting, we have to understand social, we have to understand technology, we have to understand what impact or role it's going to play in our business, absolutely. But it's not at the expense of everything else. It's not dropping everything else and just, swinging the pendulum from one side to the other, back to the other side, back to the other side. It's about finding out how do I keep my business balanced between everything that I'm doing, not just focusing on one thing, but simplifying and saying if you already know things you could do to go improve your business, go do those things. Don't keep searching for something else.
And I guess what you're saying down to it is, but you got to do them. You got to go out and do them.
Yeah, I look, jeez. I think probably my biggest complaint is that, when you travel around the country or the internationally even, and you talk with people and they come up to you and they go, everything that you told me is a lot of, like, to do all that takes a lot of work. It's like, yeah, you run a freaking business. Like, it turns out growing a business is a lot of work. Ask any business owner.
That hit home for Chris.
Yes. Steve Jobs didn't sit there and go, wow, this was really easy. Anybody that's successful will tell you that it's hard. And it's the people that are looking for it to be easy that are ultimately the ones that have the most frustration in business because they don't realize that at some point, look, when you're starting a business, when you're a startup, you don't have office hours. 9 to 5 is a pipe dream when you're starting a business. It's 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. when you wake up because you have all these ideas running around in your head that you got to get done and only you can get done. So you've got to realize that for a period of time, hustle, work your freaking butt off, and then as you build those systems that Valerie was talking about, you start putting those things in place, that's where you start to have more of that time back, and that's where it becomes easier. But it's not easy to build a business. Anybody who thinks building a business is easy is smoking crack like Rob Ford. And there's my Canada joke right there.
Wow. Wow, big finish, Travis. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Travis. We'll let you get back to work. You can get him on Twitter at TravisRO, and you can get him at TravisRobertson.com. If you need someone to hold you accountable, Travis will do that for you.
I think we have the best coaching program in the industry, and I'd love to talk with you if it would help. And Michael and Dave, you guys are awesome, and thank you so much for having me on and for inviting me to be a part of this. And I'd love to come back. And hi, Melanie. It was awesome to see you. Chris, awesome to see you. And I wish I could hang out and see what you guys are saying, but I'll watch the recording when that comes available. So see you guys.
Travis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next, we have Chris Spiecher, and you can get him on Twitter at Spiecher Group. Chris is the co-founder and realtor of the Spiecher Group, and you can get him online at www.livelovemaryland.com. Mr. Optional Pants, sir.
What's happening?
Not much. Thanks for coming back on the show. We got Kelly Mitchell still coming, who I know that you know quite well from being on Agent Caffeine and Peggy Lynn's episode. And actually, you said if you watch Peggy Lynn's episode of Agent Caffeine, you might see a sans pants Chris Spiecher in the background. That's what I heard anyway.
Completely by accident. I have to, after that happened, I need to figure out how wide those webcams actually shoot.
So, Chris, we asked you to come on the show. You're a big systems guy. You're a big funnel guy. You're new to the real estate industry the last 4 years. You brought in a lot of stuff. I think you had a Microsoft background. Is that where you were from? And really revamped what you and Peggy Lynn and the whole team is doing. So, based on that experience that you bring to the table, what is something that you can give our audience that's going to help them in ingredient for 2014?
Well, it was a great setup from Travis. One of the things that he said, it was also a great setup from Raj. Everybody's talking about focusing and doing what you do best and doing that one thing. For us and for me personally, the one thing that I would recommend is after you have gotten to the point where you've built your team and your team is operating at a level that you're happy with, it's actually take some time for yourself. I think this industry, if you do it right, can burn you out. The 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., whatever you want to do, is absolutely true. So being able to focus on what you do best and then do delegate or delete. I think that's my big theme for the year is if I'm not going to do it right away, I'm either going to delegate it or I'm going to delete it. It's just not something that I need sitting on a to-do list. And that goes back to kind of the one thing that we were talking about. Does it make sense in my business model and for what I want to accomplish to do it? If not, somebody else on my team is going to do it or I'm going to delete it and move on. Because we all know that list of to-dos just goes like this. And then at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, you're just like, how am I going to get all this stuff done? I can't do it. And we've as we've built the team over the last 3 years, that's kind of the point that I've gotten to is I can't get to my to-do list, and the fact that I never get to them says something to me. And the business is still growing, still thriving. The team is still doing what they need to do. So again, it's do, delegate, delete.
But on that, you can't do delegate or delete unless it's a measured effort. If you can't measure it, how then do you quantify what it is? And this is something Dave that says all along, and a lot of people that's come on the show before. If you can't measure it, knock it off. And so you must have systems that you can measure the results of all your activities. Then you make the decision, we'll keep doing that. We're going to farm that out, and that one we're not doing anymore.
Exactly. In any business, and I think that's where so many real estate agents and teams and brokerages and everybody in this vertical fall short. If you can't measure your return on the investment that you've made, you shouldn't be in business. I don't care about real estate business or whatever business. If you're not measuring, don't be in business. And I help moderate a couple of Zillow groups on Facebook, and you always get these people who come up with these anecdotal comments like, I feel like my volume is down. I feel like my lead count is down. I feel like my ROI is down.
You feel.
Okay, what's that mean? It should be very easy for you to measure. How many leads came in? What did it cost you? What was your return? Do the math. And it's pervasive across the industry, and I assume it's pervasive across a lot of industries. But if you're not measuring it, to your point, you can't do more of it. You can't delegate it, and you can't delete it because you just don't know.
Absolutely. Dave?
Time and money. It's a waste of time and money.
Yeah.
And I think that's, as we talked about the last time I was on, I think that's our most valuable resource, and that's our client's most valuable resource is their time. And if you're wasting my time, it's you know, I'm going to delete it. But you don't know if it's a waste of time unless you can measure it. And you know, I'll leave. You know, I know we're running over, so I'm going to leave with one more piece of advice going into 2014, and I think this is going to roll right into 2015 and beyond, and there's a lot of talk about it now. Everybody in this industry needs to figure out their value proposition in an era of data transparency.
Absolutely.
And you see it across the board, and there is that vocal minority that is against it. You can talk about Zillow, you can talk about Agent Match, you can talk about, I don't care what you talk about. The longer that people try to resist that change and aren't able to alter their value to the consumers, when this data is become more transparent, they're going to fail.
Okay, on that, just one word answer, Dave, and then Chris and Melanie. Are you glad that you're no longer the gatekeeper of the data? That there is a separation now that runs on what the Spiecher Group does, opposed to I know the information.
For me, absolutely, yes.
Chris?
I'm glad I'm not the keeper of the data. Makes my job easier.
Yeah, without question, the more data you can provide to your clients, the better equipped they are to make a decision, and you can help facilitate that. Period. End of story.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chris, for coming on the show. You can get him at Spiecher Group on Twitter, as well as online at livelovemaryland.com. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the show. Have a great holidays, and we'll be sure to talk to you in the new year.
Thanks to you guys, too. Keep rocking, and I hope to talk to you guys in the new year as well. You're doing a great job.
I'm still going to come down to see you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right down at
Up next, we have Kelly Mitchell, who is the host of Agent Caffeine. Thanks, Melanie, to stay in there. Host of Agent Caffeine and the co-host of Brevy TV, and probably the best-sounding guest we're going to have on the show today because of her really fancy microphone that I see on all her episodes. Now, Kelly, you're going to have to unmute yourself because you came in with more people. I don't know if you have unmuted yourself. See, the thing with Kelly... Oh, there, she's there. Kelly, welcome to the show. I apologize. I am not as seasoned at this hosting job, and I just want to say I got overwhelmed with all the guests we're having because having 12 amazing industry leaders is enough. And thank you, Debra Trappen, for sending me a text and going, don't forget about Kelly. So, Debra, I have it written down on the list, but all this has become very overwhelming, and we're just Virginia Munden away shy from getting our dozen on. Virginia Munden, I have sent your invite out to Wayne Munden's Google Plus page many, many times. But on the show is Kelly Mitchell. You can get her on Twitter at Kelly Mitchell. Once again, she is the host of Agent Caffeine, an amazing podcast that goes live Thursday evenings, 7-9 in the Pacific, and host of Brevy TV, 4 o'clock Pacific, along with Katie Lentz and Debra Trappen. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here. And you're ending with Virginia Munden. Now, that's a way to leave a lasting impression.
And
Great job.
She also said she was going to drink a Red Bull before the show, and that's not needed when you're talking about Virginia Munden. But
oh my God, she does not need Red Bull.
Kelly, you guys have great conversations every week. I love Brevy TV. And share something that might help our viewers with their business in 2014. So go ahead. We'll turn things over to you, Kelly, and your amazing sounding microphone.
Well, thank you so much. You know, I was thinking about, I wanted to kind of keep this in the holiday spirit because we're just embarking on the holidays. So I made a bunch of Santa Clauses. So these are clauses that you need to keep in mind for next year as you're getting ready to take the world by storm once again. Awesome. So I want people to remember truly that the magic that they create in their business is because of who they are, and that they're completely extraordinary and unique, and to never let go of that. Don't ever try to be somebody else. And that kind of ties in. I've heard a couple people talk about, you know, your niche and your values and things like that. But that extraordinary ability of being just who you are is so critically important. And, you know, Travis Robertson mentioned the silver bullet. There is a silver bullet clause. And the silver bullet clause is there isn't a silver bullet, so stop looking for it. Remember that everything that you do in your business is completely because of who you are, and it's within you. So all you need to do is do the basics, do them daily, and know what's making you successful, and then go back and repeat. And that's something that that Peggy Lynn Spiecher shared so eloquently, as you mentioned earlier. I also love the clause about disengaging, and this is important because we do get caught up in other people's stuff a lot, and I think that that can be enormously distracting. In fact, I call those people energy vampires. Those are the people that are running to you going, oh my God, I have these huge problems, I have these huge issues, will you help me? And of course we all want to help human beings, right? So we go out there and next thing you know we get caught up in their stuff, taken away from our own work, and sometimes even taken away from our own families. So identify those energy vampires as you look back in 2013 and disengage. That's the best advice I can give you, is absolutely disengage. Now, there is an engagement clause as well. So focus on engaging with those people who are elevating you and helping make your life better, your work better, and share similar values and traits. I really think that that is so important. You know, Raj mentioned something about, not something about, but an underlying theme that I've seen quite frequently is passion and finding out what you're passionate about. I mean, real estate is this huge, ginormous, like, universe, right? And there's so many different things that you can do within that scope of the business. So really find that stuff that makes your heart soar, that makes your heart sing, and focus on that and farm out the rest. And I'm going to breathe for a second because I have like 45 more that I can share.
But on that note, Kelly, I mean, speaking about sort of the platform that we're on right now and the platform that you bring us every week through podcasting and through, it's easier now to do the engagement clause with people that elevate you.
Yes.
Much easier now than ever before. And if that is having a little going back and forth with Katie Lance on Facebook, or having Dave and I every week being able to sit down and have an amazing conversation with someone that inspires us to get better. Because that's really what Dave, I mean, if there's a value in it for Dave and I hosting this show, it's the front row seat to people like you and all the other people we've had on the show today that make us better at who we are. It's easier now to, maybe the disengage is hard, but the engage is easier than ever before.
Well, the disengage is actually quite easy. In fact, it may even be easier than the engagement because it's turning down those channels of access and limiting the time. And maybe ultimately you have to remove those individuals out of your day-to-day. I mean, you really have to think about what's best for you first and foremost. Second, what's best for your family. And then third, what's best for your business, right? So it really comes down to looking at how you're spending your time. And maybe sometimes it's down to the minute or the 30 minutes or the hour. Where are you losing that time? Because as the clock keeps ticking on our lives, we're not going to get that, and I apologize in advance if you can hear that helicopter, but we're never going to get that time back. This second right now is already gone. I can't replicate that. I can't recreate that. So the disengagement, I cannot stress that enough.
Put your head down, do your work, stop listening to the noise.
Exactly. Stop listening to the noise.
Same thing in a different way.
Yeah, and if people aren't breathing light into you, if they aren't contributing to your life in a positive way, then that's a disengagement clause.
Yeah.
You could even use that. Kelly Mitchell said, I need to invoke the disengagement clause.
You just say that, and they'll be like, who's Kelly Mitchell? I'm like, oh,
exactly.
Strike number two. Strike number two.
Don't worry about it.
For God's sake.
No.
If you don't know who Kelly Mitchell is, I think that's an automatic disengagement clause. So
oh my
you
goodness,
can get it double-handed. Kelly, if people are watching right now, and I'll be shocked because we've come along, Dave and I, along after Agent Caffeine came along, but if you're not listening to Agent Caffeine on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio for sure, now you can actually watch the video component as of recently, I think at agentcaffeine.com, as well as I think you can go through that website to get to Breve TV on Monday nights. Or does Breve TV have its own URL now?
It has its own URL. We're actually separating the sites completely, so we'll have a launch in early January of a brand new Agent Caffeine. So I'm super excited about that. I mean, the bottom line on all of this is that this industry is full of entrepreneurs. Breve TV is for specifically entrepreneurs, small businesses, intrapreneurs, and Agent Caffeine is for the entrepreneurs that are in real estate. So I'm really passionate about getting information to people, as you guys are, and I have to say, you guys are doing an incredible job. If there's somebody that I watch on the scope and the landscape of what's happening in real estate and communicating and getting information out to people, it's definitely Mobile Agent TV. And Michael, you need to do some stand-up, dude. What's up with that? Why are you not on stage?
Oh my goodness gracious! How embarrassing is that to end the show on? That's the last in the world. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on the show. Agent Caffeine, Breve TV. You can get her on Twitter at Kelly Mitchell. Merry Christmas to you, and thank you so much for coming on, and aloha.
Aloha. Thanks again.
Thank you, Kelly. Virginia,
what did I do?
No, you're good. Can you hear us?
Yeah, but what did I do?
No, you're good.
Did I make a boo-boo?
No. So now we're at the end of the show. It's the last 4 guests. I'm going to invite Melanie Galea in, so unmute yourself, Melanie, and we're going to have a little bit of a chat. It's run a little long, but there's still a ton of people watching. We're going to have a little bit of a Mobile Agent TV here at the end. Dave is right there.
I'm right here.
Dave's right here.
Okay.
The show has gone so long, I have 7% left on my laptop. I am going to go behind the Christmas tree and plug it in. Dave, I'll hand the show over to you and the elf that is Virginia Munden. And we'll have a nice little chat. So excuse me for a moment.
Go ahead, you do that. So what I want to know, I got to really make sure we got to know what we're dealing with here. Virginia, you didn't drink that Red Bull yet, did you?
No, but I'm having some eggnog, and I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to the fantastic 12.
Thank you. Well, we had fun so far. Everybody was dressed up, and it's been interesting. It's been a common theme throughout the whole thing here today.
Yes.
So what's your 5 minutes of sharing with us today?
So my 5 minutes, I'm going to have to agree with every 11 that, the fantastic 11 that has been on the show today. But I'm going to say, I think the most important is, I have to agree with Valerie, first of all, on, really working our systems and our strategies. We're going to have to shift, not change, but shift and elevate all of those systems that we're using. We have to fuel those systems through effective lead generation, and we have to cultivate those leads. And I think if we shift our mindset from money to people, from transaction to really changing people's lives, I think we'll be able to really offer a valuable experience to those consumers. The why is important. The what is important, but how are we actually going to deliver that value to the consumer? The consumer is going to remember the dialogue, and if we change our dialogue to something that is more statistics and data based as opposed to something that's more visual, I think we'll be able to create that value for our business strategies moving forward with buyers and sellers. From marketing to data and statistics, I think is, as a business professional, we're going to have to show our value. And
to me, everybody said the same thing today, in a way. They said the same thing. And my saying is, Kelly said it in a different way, and I think maybe it was Travis said it. There's no silver bullet. In Jersey, we say there's no free lunch, okay? And there's nothing new under the sun either. All of this stuff is common. It's been around for I think we're all coming back to the people stuff, what's important, and it's exciting. I'm going to assume that what we're saying right now is going to go on. We're going to edit this into the.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll download both the videos. I'll see if you guys finished off without me, and if not, we'll put this together. And at least the people, we actually have a lot of viewers that have. Dave, we've got a lot of viewers that have jumped back on the show, so it's only fair to finish.
I want to make sure that one thing that I want to say is that I want to kind of go global, if you will, with this, and is to really thank you for kind of what you've done for me by coming up with this idea, including, and you're sort of publicly say that you're the guy behind this thing for the most part. I mean, I do what I can do, but I have to thank you because you've kind of added a whole new dimension to my business, and without this, I never would have had this. Again, I'm on the front lines. I'm seeing things. It's keeping me fresh in the business, and again, without you doing this whole thing, it wouldn't be possible. You're the guy, and I just want to acknowledge that. He really is.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I wouldn't want to, if it wasn't for karma or the world or whatever putting us together for R4 and having Kevin, I think it was Kevin Northrup or something like that, saying, on a private Google Hangout, the two of you guys need a show. And I went home that night and I went, wow. Now, if you had said that a year earlier, this didn't exist. This technology didn't exist. This ability to do this didn't exist. So it's all worldly. Melanie, welcome back to the show. I don't know what's happened. I don't know if that got recorded or it didn't get recorded. No, I know the first hour and 15 minutes definitely recorded, but after I got kicked off the air, I don't know if it was recorded or not. So if it was, we'll leave this out, but if not, we'll splice this back in. I've sent an invite out to Virginia, but before we get into talking with you, Melanie, really quick, and hopefully you have a couple more seconds.
I did.
Good. Let us know what Virginia had to say. Some people saw it, some people didn't. So give us what, at least because Virginia, look, she got all dressed up like an elf. She had no technical problems whatsoever at the start of the show. So can you let us know what Virginia had to say? Because it's only fair that that her nuggets get out there too as well.
I think the biggest nuggets for Virginia were just you got to know your value proposition. Talks about that all the time, and that this is. It's a people business. It's not. I mean, it's great to have the numbers and it's great to have all of that, but it's a people business, and remember those things. She said a lot more, but I think I was really distracted because you were gone.
yeah. Things fall apart. I appreciate that, but she is one of these people that I've had the pleasure now to meet, and you have too.
Yes.
She is the most like what you get online is what she gets, and it goes back to the very first guest. What Debra was saying is about being authentic, but knowing your don't try to be someone else for the sake of that's what you think you should be. Find out what each one of us has a value. Each one of us has something that can a value, and it's all different. So don't follow that one core belief for yourself. And because you're genuine, because you're authentic, because you're actually who you are, things happen. I mean, what Kelly said about me being kind of a goof, I am. But when it comes down to business and taking care of my clients, I couldn't be more focused. But it should be fun. That's who I am, and I'm not going to hide that. And I think my clients appreciate that. And once again, we said it on the show many times. Dave, you have, Melanie, you have. If you're authentic, you end up working with the people that you want to work with anyway, and you don't get distracted by people that are absolutely going to waste your time.
Yeah. So I got a couple points. So recap. So I'm totally going to do Debra's value quiz. One of the things I'm setting out to do is to create a charter for myself and who I am, what I'm about. Chris Spiecher talked about the to-do list. Stop having to-do lists. Put them in your schedule. If they're worth being on a to-do list, then you'll actually put it in your schedule to accomplish it. To-do lists don't get done. Because action items in your calendar actually get done.
And you're saying that because the to-do list doesn't have a start and end date.
Yeah.
It's just sitting on a piece of paper that when I get a chance, I'll get around to it. Yeah.
Michael, it's kind of interesting you said that because my little thing, we got to the end, my two little things that I wanted to say for my 5 minutes, if you will, all had to do with action. I knew that we were going to hear a whole lot of things on this show today about do this, do that, but it's all about, in the end, it's all about action. It's all about just pick one of these things and doing it. And so that and focus on what your priorities are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, Melanie, I see on your side of your little lower third. See,
Yeah.
look at that. There's a real one. No, there's a real one.
I love it.
There's a real one. Now, I don't know what we're going to do with this. I have visions. Maybe we're going to do something with this at R4, because I also have.
They totally are. Oh.
I also have this one here for when you got to make one for your own little thing, for your name, and put your picture on it.
Oh, that's fantastic. We'll have to talk about that.
Perfect.
So what I was trying to say, Michael, before I got cut off, because I don't think it was on, I was having like a moment about being...
Look at how great this show is going to be. Virginia Munden is on the show. We are going to end this back together. It's going to be fantastic. She's back. She's an elf. You might have to unmute yourself, Virginia, if we can't hear you.
You can take and edit yourself all together, right?
Unmute yourself, Virginia. Just click that little... I love her. She's the best. There's a little microphone at the top, in the middle of the frame at the top when you move your mouse. It's red.
I'm here.
There you Virginia Munden! She's back!
Would you like a turtle?
Oh, I would.
Oh, those are my favorite!
I saw...
Listen, before you go on, Melanie said something really important earlier. And she said this word that I've been fascinated with in the last week. Because we're always concerned with being interesting and being interested in our consumers, our clients, on the social space where all the noise is. She said the word instrumental. Working with people who are instrumental in your business. And Melanie mentioned that yourself, Michael, and David have been instrumental in her career, not only professionally, but also personally. And you can tell because she's very emotional. Which tells me she's very passionate about what she does. But, you know, you look at those three words, interested, interesting, instrumental. Which one offers the most value? I think instrumental is going to be
Oh, we're missing out.
No, I agree. We got that a little bit. I still want to.
And I can't hear you.
No, we're here. We're here. You can hear us. Right? She's too busy.
Yeah, I know you.
She's too busy making toys.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's fantastic. Virginia, you can get Virginia on Twitter at Virginia Munden, and it's WayneMunden.com. I just wanted to say that because I've been saying that about all the guests. But just before you pop back on, Virginia, because things got messed up, and we'll edit these two shows together. But you know, with what Debra was saying about what drives you and your passion and who you are, and authenticity is something we hear over and over and over again. We had the pleasure of meeting at the Canadian conference, and you are 100% the person that I thought you'd be, and there is something amazing about where we are today. Melanie and I are going to get an awesome amount of time in Toronto to hang out together, and there'll be we know who we are, we know who each other is, and it's a really special thing now. And just think about it, your clients. I mean, it's special for us, Dave and I, and the two of you. But that's what your clients. This is the relationships your clients are building with you in this new world. That as long as you're authentic, as long as you come through the front door and are who you say you are, when that on in your marketing, you'll win.
Sure.
Right.
And you know, you say the word authentic or authenticity, but there's other key words. You know, we can be as authentic as anyone else. And, you know, I try to make myself memorable in business for people not to forget me based on what I know. But unless we can be authentic, but unless we're competent, unless we remain transparent in this business, you know, those are key words. We're real estate professionals, and competency is a major word that we have to look at moving into 2014. Do we know our stuff? Can we make a difference? Can we change lives? That's what our business is about. We can be as different and unique as possible. I've got my little hat on here, but unless I know what I'm talking about in this business, no one's going to want to work with me.
And that's something Dave says all too as well. The only way to provide that value is to be bigger than the real estate transaction, and more than that, to be building a business and not a transactional agent, because then you don't have the ability to invest in developing that bigger picture if you're just going from deal to deal. You have to step back and run a business.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a business.
What are the three things, Michael, I've said about... Michael, what are the three things I've said about listing presentations and your buyer presentations and your whole business?
Educate
yourself, provide competency and value, and educate your client.
Yep.
Three things, same thing she just said.
Yep.
You're spot on.
And relevancy. You know, are we relevant in our industry? Do we represent our brands? Do we represent our business? Because we are a brand. We are a business. So let's start treating ourselves like one and gain that respect in our industry. You know, our industry has so much more room for improvement. You know, this is a business. We should be treated like some of the top professionals and CEOs in the entire world. We are professionals. But when you have passion like Melanie Galea does, I mean, those are the type of people you want to surround yourself with. The people that are passionate, the people that are fearless, the ones that share. And that's so elemental in our industry. Thank you, Melanie.
Yeah, you know what? And Dave, every single person we reach out to that's been on the show in the last, and let's look back in 2013, they're all amazing at what they do, and they all have no fear of sharing, and they're all passionate. Like, that's just, I mean, just if you were to look back at all the guests that we've had, 37 episodes, and find a common theme with all of them, they're not fearful what's happening across the street from them. They're willing to share with you. They're karma people, or whatever you want to call it. They're passionate. They're smart. That's the common theme through it all, Dave.
It is. It absolutely is. And you got to have no fear to come on this show.
because we're such hard asses, right? Is that what it is?
We're hard asses.
Future
Actually, an interesting thing. When I watched I told Michael earlier, I watched the first water cooler I ever watched the other day. You know those guys drink beer on that show?
Yeah, that's their thing, though. That's
beer. He had one in each hand. Chris did.
Well, it's at 9:05 at night. This is during the day. I've got to go to a listening presentation.
Doing a night show, like an occasional, once a month or once every 6 weeks.
A little like a little wine quarterly or something like that.
We can have something else in our cup.
Virginia, is there any other really big pressing points you want to put out there? Because I know we have a hiccup here, but
did you get what I had the last time, or were we off the air?
I'm not really sure what happened, Virginia. I'm going to find out here in the next 2 hours, find out what actually happened. But go ahead.
Yeah, let me just summarize what I had mentioned, and then
sure.
Melanie and I were on for a bit, and we weren't sure if you caught our tail end of it. I agreed with Valerie Garcia about using systems and strategies, really working those systems. On our team we have over 25 systems, and we measure them. As Chris Spiecher said, if you can't measure it, don't do it. And there's value in measuring, but to fuel those systems, you need an effective lead generation campaign, because you need to fuel clients for the systems. And the only way you can, if you want to be a lead generating warrior or productivity junkie, our business mindset has to shift, not change, but shift from the monetary mindset more to a relationship mindset, or from say delivering visuals or marketing agendas more to data and statistics, because we're always talking about why and what. But we're not delivering the how. That experience to them. How are you going to help change their lives? Get them the most amount of money in the least amount of time. How is it that you're going to help them find their new property? We can talk about that shiny object that Travis Robertson was speaking about, but that shiny object really doesn't exist. It's really about working hard, understanding our markets, and being educated on the data and the statistics that will help us achieve those results. Surrounding ourselves with key people that can help us achieve those results, whether they're our partners, our colleagues. There's so many things to encapsulate into an excellent real estate experience. Surrounding ourselves with key people of influence, not people of control, and concentrating on how we're going to make that difference. I think that's important to understand, especially when we move from the opportunity, cultivating that opportunity, and then converting it to a buyer or a seller client. And in the end, the result is a successful real estate transaction. But it's about people. That's the foundation of our business. People, not properties. It's always been that way, and it will never change. And when we shift our mindset from thinking from the transaction and the monetary value or compensation or commissions to changing people's lives, then our role as a real estate professional evolves into something quite exciting, actually. And that's when the industry follows our leads, and we can strengthen it by that as well. And Mobile Agent TV is an industry strengthener, we'll call it, because you do share and offer the best real estate practices. It's not just about technology, it's not about social media, but it's, you know, it's about the dialogue and how we deliver that dialogue to people. Because people will remember what you say, not when you said it or how you said it, but they will remember what you say. You know, was it caring? Was it engaging? Was it real? What did you offer? You know, what was it memorable that you offered to them? And then business, you know, business eventually grows from that. Opportunities grow, not business. So we'll say opportunities, because it's up to us as real estate professionals to convert.
Okay, guys, I need to jump in because I gotta show houses in like 15 minutes here.
Okay.
I wanna if I can just throw in my two things and then I gotta go.
Well, we're gonna have you sign off, Melanie. So we'll go through.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what I just want to say, just further to what my message is about gratitude. People will remember how you make them feel. I think that's what Virginia's saying, and it's what you do for them that they will remember. Because words are just words. It's the actions. It's what you do for them. And I think that's what the other point that she was getting to. So for me, it's showing gratitude. Whether it's sending a card or having client appreciation events or saying thank you, or if I ask for advice, be in a mode of reception, not taking. I had that experience when some people were asking me advice at the Richard Robbins event. It was like there was two types of people. There were the takers, gimme, gimme, gimme. And then when I offered stuff, it just landed like resistance. And then there was people that were, it's not that you have to take on everything that I'm saying, but it was like, I'm going to think about that. I'm going to ingest what you have to say. I'm going to really, if you're going to ask for advice, receive it. There's a difference than just take it, receive it. And then make your own decisions about it. And let it inspire you. And you might not do it the same way. I'm not going to be doing a Raj Qsar thing, but am I inspired by him? Will I call him up and say, hey, what do you think about this, this, and this? You know what, I know, but I'm not going to sit there and call him and then be resistant. So the last message, the biggest message is from everyone. Michael and Dave, you've had a huge influence on my career this year, and I just want to release from the bottom of my heart for the times that I've called you up or emailed me and you've taken the time to give me advice. My business is where it is because of you guys taking the time to share. And I'm excited to share my victories with you guys, and I'm excited to, you know, if I come up with an idea and David, you email me back, I'm going to steal this. You're not stealing it. You're making it your own, and we're sharing, and that's the whole idea. Maybe I inspire you guys too. Like, that's
absolutely.
I love it, and I love surrounding myself, like Virginia said, with fantastic people that lift me up. Because the more time I spend time with people like yourselves, the better I feel. And I'm taking up more of that disengagement clause and removing the people from my life that don't make me feel that way, or you know, pressing pause on them or spending little or less amount of time with them, because this is way more fun. And I've had a great year, and I'm so thankful. So from the bottom of my heart, Mike, Michael, and David, and Virginia too, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that, Melanie. And Dave and I, you know, it's one of those things. It's, you know, without that video, without knowing that we were starting to touch, like we're starting to help out. I don't think, you know, it kept Dave and I motivated throughout the year, right, Dave? Like the feedback is so important for us, and you've been such a great part of the show. You are a part of the Mobile Agent TV family for sure, and you've made this last year for us super exciting, and we've learned a lot because of you. I'm inspired by you, and it is what goes around. It's just no one person. I don't know everything. I'm not even close to knowing everything. and I hope I never do, because the curiosity about being better at my job is so much fun. It's so much fun.
That's a good one.
So Melanie's got to get back to work because we're actual real realtors. I got to run out. So on that note, you can get Melanie on Twitter, Melanie G Realtor, and her website is www.soldbymelanie.ca. Virginia Munden is at Virginia Munden, and it's waynemunden.com. Next episode, we're taking Christmas off, is January 10th with Social Me. January 17th, we're going to do a special episode after Kickstart. Melanie and I will be in Toronto, and we'll have Dave come on. We'll talk about all the takeaways. January 24th. Is
Dave coming?
Well, we've asked him several times. So you can send an email or whatever. He's going on vacation. January 24th, we have Chris Smith coming on the show to talk about his new book, People Work. If you have any referrals heading out to the East Coast of the United States, please get a hold of Dave. He'll get you in the hands of the right RE/MAX agent. If you have any referrals coming out to the West Coast of Canada, get a hold of me. I'll get you handed to the right RE/MAX agent. I want to say a very huge thank you to all 12 amazing business people and people for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. This has been a whole lot of fun. I wish everyone, on behalf of Dave and myself, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and be safe out there, and we'll see you January 10th. And on that note, Dave, is there anything you wanted to add at the very, very end?
I'm good. I said it. Just make sure you get that little thing in there that I asked you to make sure you put in. Again, I'm with Melanie. I'm very grateful for this whole opportunity myself. It's been phenomenal. It's changed my business, my life, meeting a lot of cool people. I love all you guys.
Awesome. Merry Christmas to you, Dave, and to Vanessa, and I'll be talking to you prior to Christmas too as well. But on that note, let me hand it over to Melanie Galea, who will do our sign-off for the show. And once she finishes saying it, we're going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you very much. Over to you, Melanie Galea.
So, if you know 5 agents, tell 5 agents about how great this show is. I can't do this by myself, people. Tell as many people, RE/MAX agents, that they've got to be watching this show because it's going to skybound their business. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Melanie. Thank you, Virginia. We'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you January 10th.